Okay, this is number 3 of our talks about what we are looking for as we get into the season at UC Santa Cruz. Just to demonstrate a key point about training and how important it is to manipulate really your own body to have the greatest performance, we're going to use Susie Speedster and Sally Swim Fast. And now, one thing that I want you to just picture is that Susie and Sally have trained side by side. Their goal is to go under 2 minutes in the 200 freestyle, and they've trained all year together. They're very close in terms of what they can hold in practice. One day Susie might be beating Sally, the next day Sally might be beating Susie in practice. And for all intents and purposes, the same age. We could even say they're the same height, they're very close with their training, everything is very comparable. So what's the difference? Why does one swim faster than the other? Susie gets excited. Susie likes to go fast, she likes to swim in front, she likes to lead. And sometimes that's a very positive thing, but it could come back to hurt you. And going in, their best times, let's say, are 2:02.5 in the 200 free. So Susie dives in, and on her first 50, she opens up in 27.5. And that's really pretty hard. Sally Swim Fast dives in, and she's an eighth of a second slower, 0.8 of a second slower. The difference is that Susie is already over 180 heart rate. She's already producing some lactate. Sally is swimming smooth and easy. She's controlled. She opens up at 28.3. But she's behind, almost a full second. So at the second 50, Susie Speedster, she's still going hard. She's feeling good. She's out in front. She turns at 56.5. Her 50 split was 29 flat. Still pretty good. You know, for a 202, 200 freestyler, she's out pretty fast. Sally, on her second 50, goes the same speed, 29 flat. So no difference in their second split. Susie Speedster's at 56.5, Sally's at 57.3. Now the difference is that Sally has just kind of like went from smooth and controlled, she's kind of accelerated a little bit, and then she's kind of holds the same time on that second 50. Susie, that's a second and a half drop off, but still the same 29 flat. Now at the 100, Susie's out in 56.5, she's feeling good, she's out in front, but now at this point she's producing larger amounts of lactate. She pushes off of the wall at the 100. She didn't breathe very much on this first 50, and then all of a sudden she's finding that like, oh, this kind of hurts a little bit. She's gone long enough where she's kind of gone producing some lactate, she's got some CO2 buildup. She starts to slow down. She turns at the 150 at 127.5. Okay, for somebody who's 202, she's trained hard. You know, she should be able to be pretty good, you know, still coming home. Sally at the 100 pushes off of the wall, and in her mind it's like, okay, I haven't hurt myself yet. I'm beginning to just really feel good. I start to accelerate into that third 50. She goes 29 flat again. Okay, she's turning at 126.3. Susie Speedster, she's 31 flat. She's at 127.5. So already, just on that 150, Sally's just kind of like really kind of moved by Susie. 29 flat, she's still not sprinting. So she's in real good shape. She's passed her on the third 50, she's taking control of the race. Susie is hurting, but she's still at 127.5. The last 50, she's struggling. 32.5, she gets another second and a half slower. She still goes 2:00. That's still her best time. Everybody's like, woo, that's great. But meanwhile, Sally Swim Fast, she's going max effort now for that last 35 seconds, that last like maybe 50, 55 yards. She's kicked in her legs, she's gone into full sprint mode. She comes home in 29.2, she's 155.5. Now the coach knows that Sally and Susie are really kind of the same training background. They've done everything pretty much the same. They're both really competitive. But one swimmer goes 4.5 seconds faster. And it's only because she paced it correctly. She manipulated how her body works. She knew that if she goes too hard early, she's going to be producing too much lactate. It's going to be hard to get home. So some key points in this that to remember. When you're swimming, your first 50 is going to be fast anyway. You don't need to overwork it. You can just be smooth and controlled. 27.5 takes a lot of effort. 28.3, it's only 0.8 slower, but the difference in terms of that first 30 seconds or so, that first 50 is just nice and easy. You want to make sure that your 35 seconds of max effort comes at the end of the race. It's not uncommon to be 29 flat and then maybe 28.5, 28.8 coming home. She died a little bit on the last 50, but still she went her max effort the last 35 seconds of the race. Transitions are key. That's the hardest part of swimming in our sport. Transitions, when she makes this transition where she starts to accelerate again with that last 35 seconds, she's going max effort. You have to make yourself go faster. And you have to have the confidence to be behind early so that you can come home fast. You have to have the confidence that this doesn't matter. Okay? What matters is that you're fast enough, and that all comes from your training and your aerobic background. But then you can take control of the race as you get more and more anaerobic and you get more and more speed brought into play. You have to have the confidence. You have to know what it feels like to be 28.3. You have to know what it feels like to then start accelerating and try to maintain those times. What we do with our training is to allow you to get to this point. We want you to be confident. We want you to be aerobically fit. We want you to have anaerobic background so that you can bring in that anaerobic speed and tolerate lactate and work at higher workloads, and then still have that ability to throw in your final max effort on the end of your race. So that's what we would like to see you doing, and have the confidence to swim this way, and understand that the transitions are the key, and the transitions in our sport are really the hardest things that we do. And we'll get into more about how we're going to train to allow yourself to get to this point.